Be me, 29F. Senior at a progressive law school, top of my class. Interned at the ACLU. My entire identity was fighting for the marginalized, the oppressed, the voiceless. I thought I was one of the good ones. Had an older brother. Let's call him Matt. Matt was 34. Worked as a youth counselor at a group home for at-risk teenagers. One of those guys who fell into helping professions because he had no idea what else to do. Never went to college. Dropped out of community college. Worked construction for a while. Hated it. Found the group home job through a friend. He wasn't heroic about it. That's what I told myself. He just stumbled into it. I was the one with purpose. I was the one changing the world. Matt and I weren't close. He was quiet. I was loud. He watched sports. I organized protests. He voted. I campaigned. He lived in a small apartment in a mediocre part of town. I lived in a trendy neighborhood near campus. We were from the same parents, but different planets. Our mother died when I was 19. Ovarian cancer. Matt was 24. He dropped everything to come home and help. I was in my sophomore year. I visited on weekends when I could. He took a leave from work. He cooked. He cleaned. He held Mom's hand while she vomited from chemo. He held her when she died. I wrote a eulogy about how Mom taught me to fight for justice. Matt stood at the funeral and didn't say a word, just cried. I thought he was weak. I thought he was emotionally stunted. I was so fucking wrong. 3 years ago. I get a call from Matt's work, 11:47 a.m. I'm in a seminar on critical race theory. I ignore it. They call again. I ignore it again. They leave a voicemail. Ms. Chen, this is Deborah from Sunrise Group Home. There's been an incident with your brother. He's been taken to the hospital. Please call us back. Matt was in a coma. Traumatic brain injury. One of the residents, a 16-year-old boy with a history of violent outbursts, hit him with a metal chair. Matt tried to de-escalate. The boy didn't stop. I remember thinking, typical male violence. Even the victims are perpetrators in waiting. That thought makes me want to throw up now. He woke up 3 days later. He couldn't speak at first, just mouthed words, water. Then, the kids. He was asking about the teenagers at the group home, the one who almost killed him. I wanted to scream at him. They did this to you. Why do you care about them? But I didn't scream. I just sat there. And for the first time in years, I didn't say anything. Matt spent 2 months in the hospital, then 3 months in rehab, then 6 months at home, learning to walk again, learning to talk again, learning to remember things. His short-term memory was wrecked. He'd forget what he said 5 minutes ago. He'd forget appointments. He'd forget to eat. I visited when I could, which wasn't often. Law school was busy. I had clinics. I had journals. I had protests. I had a life that mattered. Matt had a life that was falling apart. The group home fired him while he was in the coma. Liability, they said. Can't have someone with a brain injury working with at-risk youth. He lost his apartment. He moved into a subsidized studio, the kind with bars on the windows and a smell that never goes away. I visited once a month. Each time he was smaller. Each time he had less to say. He'd watch TV. I'd sit on his couch, which was also his bed, and scroll through my phone. We'd exchange a few words. How are you feeling? Okay. Are you eating? Yeah. Do you need anything? No. Then silence. Then I'd leave. And I'd feel relieved. Because being around him was depressing. Because he was a reminder that the world wasn't fair. And I was supposed to be fighting unfairness, not sitting in it. 1 year after the assault, Matt calls me at 2 a.m. I'm asleep. I don't answer. He leaves a voicemail. Hey, it's Matt. I don't know. I can't sleep. I keep thinking about that night. Keep thinking about the kid. His name was Marcus. He was a good kid. He just had a lot of anger. I keep thinking I should have done something different. Anyway, sorry for calling late. You're probably busy. I'll talk to you later. Love you. I listened the next morning, meant to call him back. I forgot. 2 days later, another call. This time from the landlord. Your brother didn't pick up his mail. We found him unresponsive. He's at County General. He'd overdosed, leftover painkillers. He'd taken too many. His heart stopped. A neighbor found him. Paramedics brought him back. I sat in the chair next to his bed. I didn't know what to say, so I said what I always said. You need to be stronger than this. You survived. You need to fight. He looked at me. His eyes were wet. I don't know how to fight anymore. I don't know what I'm fighting for. You're fighting to live, I said, like it was obvious, like it was easy. He turned his head toward the window, didn't say anything else. I stayed for an hour. Then I left. I had a paper due, 6 months after that. Matt is out of the hospital, back in his studio. I haven't visited in 3 weeks. I've been busy. Finals. Then a clerkship interview. Then a protest outside the family court building. Fathers for Equal Rights was holding a demonstration. I went with my friends to counter-protest. We held signs that said, "Believe women and patriarchy kills." I wrote a chant. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The male victim narrative has got to go. I remember laughing with my friends afterward. We got coffee. We talked about how ridiculous those men were. They think they're oppressed, one friend said. Imagine thinking you're a victim when you run the world. I laughed. I agreed. That night, I get a text from Matt. 11:04 p.m. I saw you on the news, at the protest. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. 3 minutes later, another text. I just wanted you to know. I tried. I really tried. For Mom. For you. For those kids. I tried to be good. I tried to matter. I typed back. You do matter. Get some sleep. He read it. Didn't respond. I went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to 14 missed calls. All from the landlord. I knew before I answered. I knew in my bones. Ms. Chen, I'm so sorry. Your brother. He's gone. He'd hung himself. Used a belt from his bathrobe. Tied it to the closet rod in his studio. I didn't cry. Not at first. I just sat on my bed. My phone kept buzzing. Friends checking in. The hospital calling. I ignored all of it. I sat there for 3 hours. Then I drove to his apartment. The police had already been there. The door was still open. The landlord let me in. The studio was small, messy. Dishes in the sink. Clothes on the floor. The closet door was still open. The rod was bent. I could see where the belt had been. On his bed, there was a notebook, spiral bound, the kind you buy at a drugstore. I picked it up. It was full of letters. Dear Sarah, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I need to write it down. I'm scared. The doctors say my brain might get better, but it might not. I can't remember things. I forget what day it is. I forget to take my meds. I feel like I'm disappearing. I tried to tell you. When you visited last week, I tried to tell you how scared I am, but you were on your phone the whole time. And when I finally got your attention, you said I just needed to stay positive. You said I was being dramatic. Maybe I am. I don't know anymore. Dear Sarah, I found out today that Marcus killed himself. The kid who hit me. He was 17. No dad. Mom was an addict. He never had a chance. He felt guilty about what happened. He thought he ruined my life. So he ended his. I can't stop thinking about him. About how I should have done more. About how the system failed him. I tried to tell you. You were at a protest that day. I called you 3 times. You texted back, busy, call later. You never called. I don't blame you. You're busy. You're important. I'm just her brother, the one who got hurt, the one who can't get his life together. I'm just a burden. Dear Sarah, I tried to kill myself tonight. I took a bunch of pills. Then I got scared. I made myself throw up. Most of it came back up, I think. I don't know why I'm writing this. I guess I want someone to know that I'm not okay, that I haven't been okay for a long time. But I can't tell you, because every time I try, you make it about something else. You make it about how men need to stop centering themselves. You make it about how women have it worse. You make it about how I'm just experiencing the consequences of patriarchy. Maybe you're right. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe I deserve to feel this way because I'm a man and men have been hurting women for thousands of years. But Sarah, I'm not those men. I'm just Matt. I'm just your brother. I'm just someone who's tired. Dear Sarah, I watched your video today, the one about toxic masculinity. You said men need to unlearn their entitlement to emotional labor from women. You said men need to stop expecting women to fix them. I don't expect you to fix me. I just want you to see me. I just want you to hear me. I just want my sister to look at me and say, I see you're hurting and that matters, but you won't, because I'm a man and my pain doesn't matter. It's just privilege in disguise. I'm so tired of being the enemy. The last entry was dated 2 days before he died. Dear Sarah, I've decided. I'm going to end it. Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. But soon. I can't do this anymore. The pain, the loneliness, the forgetting, the not mattering. I know you'll be angry. I know you'll say I was weak. I know you'll say I should have tried harder. But Sarah, I did try. I tried so hard. I tried to be a good brother. I tried to be a good counselor. I tried to be a good man. And it wasn't enough. It was never enough. I'm not writing this to blame you. I'm not writing this to make you feel guilty. I'm writing this because I need someone to know that I existed, that I mattered, even if no one acted like it. Tell Mom I'm sorry. Tell her I tried to make her proud. And tell yourself that it's not your fault, because it's not. It's mine. I should have been stronger. I should have been better. I love you, Sarah. I always did, even when you didn't love me back. Goodbye. I closed the notebook. I sat on his bed. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I was hollow. Everything I believed, everything I fought for, everything I was, it all crumbled in that moment. My brother killed himself, and I helped. Not directly, not with my hands, but with my silence, with my dismissals, with my ideology that taught me to see him as an oppressor instead of a human being. He reached out, over and over, and I pushed him away, because I was too busy fighting for justice to notice that my own brother was drowning, because I was too busy centering women's voices to hear a man scream. The funeral was small. A few co-workers, a couple neighbors, me. My dad, who flew in from Arizona. He didn't say much, just stood at the grave and cried. Afterward, Dad and I sat in a diner. We ordered coffee. Neither of us drank it. He tried to tell me, Dad said. He called me a few months ago, said he was struggling, said he didn't know if he could keep going. What did you say? I told him to man up. I told him life was hard and he needed to push through. Dad started crying again. I told my son to man up, and now he's dead. I reached across the table and held his hand. We sat like that for a long time. Two people who failed the same man. Two people who loved him but didn't know how to show it. I went back to law school, but everything was different. I couldn't focus. I couldn't care about briefs and motions. All I could think about was Matt. All I could see was his face. All I could hear was his voice in those letters. I started doing research, real research. 77% of suicide deaths are men. 3 out of 4. 40% of domestic violence victims are men. 0 shelters for male victims in my state. 0 boys falling behind in education at every level. Fathers denied custody by default. A male loneliness epidemic no one talks about. I brought this up in my feminist theory seminar. I raised my hand. I said, I've been looking at male suicide rates. I'm wondering if our movement has anything to say about that. The professor looked at me like I'd just farted in church. That's a valid concern, she said carefully. But we need to be careful not to center male suffering in a space about women's liberation. A classmate chimed in. Men kill themselves because of toxic masculinity. It's a problem men need to solve themselves. Another classmate. Bringing up male suicide is often used as a whataboutism to dismiss women's issues. I sat there. I thought about Matt, about his letters, about how he tried to tell me he was drowning, about how I told him to be stronger, about how these people would have said the same thing. Men need to solve their own problems. Don't center male suffering. That's just a derailment tactic. My brother is dead, and these people would have called his death a footnote. I dropped out of law school 6 months later, not because I couldn't handle it, because I couldn't stomach it. I moved back to my hometown, got a job at a community mental health clinic, entry level, answering phones, minimum wage. I started volunteering at a men's shelter on weekends, the only one in the county, 12 beds, 60 men on the waiting list, run by a man named Dave who'd been doing it for 20 years with almost no funding. The first day I walked in, Dave looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. You're the first volunteer we've had who isn't court-ordered, he said. I spent that first day cleaning bathrooms, scrubbing toilets, mopping floors. It was the most meaningful work I'd ever done. I met Jerome, 52, homeless for 3 years after his wife left and took everything. Nobody sees me, he told me. I walk down the street and people look through me like I'm glass. I met Kevin, 24, gay, kicked out at 17, got clean, got a job, got laid off, lost everything. I tried to kill myself twice, he said. Both times the nurses treated me like I was a waste of space. I thought about Matt. Every man I met was a version of him. Quiet, hurting, trying to be strong, failing, hating themselves for failing. I thought about all the times I could have reached back, all the times Matt called and I didn't answer, all the times he was drowning and I threw him a lecture instead of a rope. I quit my feminist circles, deleted Twitter, unfollowed everyone who made jokes about male tears or white male fragility. I lost friends, lots of them. Some called me a traitor. Some said I was experiencing internalized misogyny. One friend sent me a long message about how I was centering male pain at the expense of female liberation. I blocked her and moved on. I've been at the shelter for 2 years now. Dave retired. I'm the director. Still underfunded. Still understaffed. But we've expanded. 24 beds. A job training program. A mental health counselor twice a week. A support group for fathers fighting for custody. We've saved lives. Men who were going to kill themselves. Men who were at the edge and pulled back because someone finally saw them. I was gonna do it, a man named Miguel told me last month. I had the belt. I had the plan. Then my friend told me about this place. Did we help? You're still talking to me, aren't you? I think about Matt every day. About the belt. About the closet rod. About the notebook. About the words he wrote that I'll never be able to unread. I'm just a burden. My pain is just privilege. I should have been stronger. He was wrong. About all of it. He wasn't a burden. His pain wasn't privilege. He was strong enough. He was stronger than me. What he couldn't survive was being told, over and over, that his suffering didn't matter. By the world. by the system, by his own sister. Last week, I spoke at a men's health conference. I told Matt's story. I read from his letters. I talked about how I failed him. Afterward, a woman came up to me. She was crying. "My brother killed himself last year," she said. "I was just like you. I didn't listen. I didn't see him. And now he's gone." We hugged. Strangers who understood each other perfectly. "What do we do now?" she asked. "We help the ones still here," I said. "That's all we can do." She's volunteering at the shelter now. 3 days a week. Patient. Kind. The way I should have been with Matt. We can't bring them back, but we can make sure their deaths weren't meaningless. We can make sure no one else dies the way they died. Alone, unseen, convinced they didn't matter. I still have Matt's notebook. I keep it in my desk. Sometimes I open it. I read a few pages. I remind myself why I'm here. Dear Sarah, I'm so tired of being the enemy. He wasn't the enemy. He was never the enemy. He was just a man trying to survive in a world that told him his survival didn't matter. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'm sorry I was too busy fighting for justice to give you any. I see you now, and I will spend the rest of my life making sure other men don't suffer the way you suffered. You mattered. You always mattered.